In this video, we'll be reviewing event-triggered workflows in Zoho CRM. Some examples of this could be sending out an alert in Zoho notifying your team that a new lead has come in or that an opportunity stage has changed. Another example could be sending email notifications to your internal team, reminding them that maybe a task is due tomorrow or a contract will be up for renewal in the next 30 days. Before we jump in, if you find this video useful, please be sure to like and subscribe below. Feel free to also leave any comments with any questions or requests for future videos. We're always taking a look at everything that you all are commenting to us. And as always, if you need some help on your Zoho instance, head over to our website, click on book a meeting, and we'll be able to hop in to help your team out directly. In order to send any sort of notification to your team triggered by Zoho CRM, we will need to configure an email template first. And that email template will be the actual email notification that your team will be receiving in their inbox. We will pivot over to the email template section of Zoho CRM. So first we'll go over to the setup, which is indicated by the gear icon in the top right-hand corner. And then we will go down to customization. So under the customization block, you will see a templates option. So we'll go down here. Go ahead and click on new template. We'll need to select the module that this email template will be for. So for this case, we will select leads, but we do have every single module as well as custom modules accessible here as options. So we'll click on next. There are several email templates that are already accessible in the CRM that Zoho has provided us with just in case there is something that you like. If you like one of these formats, feel free to hop into any of these and then you can customize these standard templates as you see fit. And so this is an example of one of these standard templates. We can replace any of the features that exist on this template and save it as a brand new email template in your system. And so what I'll be doing is adding in a blank email template. I won't be using any of these pre-existing ones just so we can go through all of the components of the email template builder. And so this is what the screen will look like once you open up the email template builder. We have several components accessible on the left-hand side. And so we can add text blocks, images, spacers, image and text so that they are in line together. Different button options, so you can add a custom button to your email template, columns, tables, and the background as well. The first place that I usually like to start with email templates is adding in the content first, and then spicing up the visuals after that fact. Because this is an internal team notification, I won't get too fancy with the configurations, but there are several options as far as configuring the visual aspect of it if you do want to spice it up a little bit for your team. And so with the context that this will be a notification for a new lead, let me name my template first, new lead, notification, new lead. A really neat feature that you can add into the subject line of the email template is that if you click on the pound sign or the hashtag sign, depending on your generation, you can then see a drop-down option. So this will be able to pull in any sort of fields or merge any fields in from the record itself that is triggering this email template to be sent out or manually being sent out from that record. So because this is the leads module, we have all of these lead fields that are accessible here. And so I can label this as new lead, and let's say that I want to add the name of the company. Right, and so I'll type in some test content here. Oftentimes in any sort of email notification templates that I configure for our clients, I like to enter in some basic details in the body of the email itself, as well as a button to allow them to direct over to Zoho CRM directly to populate that record. So let's say maybe the lead name, and then I'll again press on that pound sign or hashtag sign, again, depending on your generation, and entering in the first name and the last name. Any of the text that you enter in between these merge fields will populate as such, and so you'll see that I put in the merge field of the first name, and then a space, and then the merge field for the last name. So that's just a little tip as you're entering in all of these merge fields into the template. And then I'll go ahead and put the company name, and then let's say phone number, perhaps email. And these are just some standard fields that I typically like to include. Something else that I normally like to include, especially because sometimes depending on the company that you're with, we'll have some leadership team members receiving these emails as well so that they're able to kind of keep track of the SLAs for your sales team. So I do like to typically include a lead source field, but again, this is very customizable. You can add anything as you see fit from the record itself. So lead source. And just some simple formatting here. Now that we have the basic content for the email template, I'll go ahead and click on the button component. And you'll see we have a couple of different options just for the shaping, so you can choose whatever you'd like. I'll select the oval option. The button name will actually be the text that is displayed on top of the button itself, and so I will label this as Go To Lead in CRM. I will have this as a web URL. We have a few different options as far as how the button component works in the email template builder, so we can have it linked to an email, an unsubscribe link. This option is pretty neat because you will also be able to select the unsubscribe link that you have configured in your CRM. And then we have a Zoho webinar registration URL and Zoho survey. These two are turned on in our demo account because we have those integrations configured. But for this example, I will be selecting web URL. You will need to then enter in the link. For now, I will go ahead and enter in google.com because I do want to add in a fun little tip here. And so every single record in Zoho CRM has a hidden ID. And I'm actually going to open up a record just so we can see where that ID lives. If you open up any record in Zoho CRM, what you'll notice is that in the URL, the ID will be displayed, and that is the back-end record ID that will exist uniquely for that specific record in specifically your Zoho CRM instance. And so this ID is indeed a back-end field that we can access as a merge field. And so as an example, I'll go ahead and type in the £, and you'll see that lead ID is that top option there. And so that is the merge field that will populate the ID for that specific record. And so what I like to do is copy this merge field. The formatting is pretty simple, but I like to do it just in case, just to make sure that nothing breaks in the back end. So I'll usually pull up this merge field, and I'll just cut that out of the text box. I'll go back into the settings for the button itself that I'm creating, and then I will replace this web URL. And so now we have the merge field entered in. The URL for every single Zoho record will typically follow the same exact formatting. And so it will be crm.zoho.com, a bunch of verbiage, your org ID, /tab, / the name of the module, and then the ID of the record within that module. And so what I'll want to do is copy over this URL here, go back to the email template, and then I will paste over that full URL. And so now what we'll see, I'll select this entire thing just so we can see what it looks like. But now this is what the URL is going to look like whenever it is being used from the email template. And so we see crm.zoho.com, all of that other verbiage, the name of the module being leads, / and then the lead ID will be populated there. This formatting specifically is what is going to enable this button to direct the user who is receiving that email notification to open up Zoho CRM directly, and it will populate that exact lead record that they are being notified about. And so I'll go ahead and click on save. And now I have the full and complete content for the email notification that I would like sent out to our internal team whenever they are assigned a brand new lead. So what I'll do from this point is adjust some of the cosmetic features here. And so I can change, let's say that I want this to be in a font style that is, more aligned with our branding. I know that this isn't too important as an internal email notification, but that is something that, you can configure in the email template builder. You can adjust the button colors here, and so you'll be able to use the toolbar up at the top to make any adjustments. You can change the font, you can change the color of the background, you could change the color of the font of the button as well. And so these are just some options here for you. And then once you are ready and have your email template looking the way that you want it to, you'll go ahead and click on save. You can either save as a draft if you want to edit it later, or you can save now. This will prompt you to save the email template in a folder and double check that the template is named the way that you want it to. So I will go ahead and save this over to, let's say, I'll go ahead and create a new folder and label it internal team notifications. And I'll have this accessible only to me. You can change the permissions here if you want additional team members to be able to use this, but because this is specifically for internal team notifications, I want to be the only one to configure that, and so I'll go ahead and set this to only to me. Click and create, and then I'll go ahead and click on save to save the email template. Now we have our first email template. While I'm in here, I'm going to go ahead and configure the email templates for our future examples now that we've already spent some time reviewing how the email template builder works. There is another merge field that you can add into the email template itself. And so let's say that you want to enter in the actual name of the person that is receiving this email notification. While we do have every single module in the CRM accessible, we're also able to add in merge fields from the actual user. And so users are all of your users that have access to your Zoho CRM and are actually navigating the platform. And so here I can say, hi, user first name, and that will actually populate the name of the recipient of this email notification. For the last example of a contract renewal reminder notification being sent to your internal team, you will want to be sure that the email template is being configured based on the module that actually houses that contract renewal date field. So as an example, I'll go under customizations, go to modules and fields. Let's say that for my example, I want to house the contract renewal date on the account module. So I'll go ahead over to accounts. I'll click on the layout that I would like to edit. And so what I'll be doing here is adding in a date field to the module itself, and I will label this as contract renewal date. And what this allows us to do is that once that date is stamped, we can then configure a workflow rule to be triggered off of a certain time frame around that date field. So I'll go ahead and click on save. And that field is now saved in the CRM. Let me close out. And then I'm going to go back to templates, internal team notifications, and then I'll configure that last email template for us. And so because I have that contract renewal date field again listed on the account module, I'll want this email template to be configured for the accounts module. Then we'll click on next. So now that we have all of our email templates configured, I'm going to go ahead into the workflow rule builder so that we can actually attach these email templates to specific trigger points in the CRM. And so on the left side panel under automation, you'll go down to workflow rules, and then we'll go ahead and create a brand new rule. So the first email notification template that we configured was for the brand new leads coming in, notifying the internal team. And so I'll select the module. New lead notification will be the name of the rule. So the trigger point for this rule will be record action and upon record create. And so this will be triggered upon the creation of any record in the leads module. We will want likely the status to be new. And so I'll mark the lead status as, let's see, it looks like in our demo account, we don't have a new option, but let's say that if you have a new option or, whatever the lead status is upon assignment to a sales rep or upon lead creation, that is the status that we'll want. So I'll say not contacted, then we'll click on next or done. And then from here, we'll be able to configure an email notification. And so I'll select email notification as the action. We'll go ahead and click on new email notification, and I'll label this as new lead. I'll want this to be sent out to the owner of the lead record. And then I'll select my email template. And so we can see that we have this new lead notification email template that we configured previously. So I'll select this. We can always view the email template as well. And so just as a recap, this is what it looks like. It's what we configured earlier. And then we'll go ahead and click on Save and Associate. And we will save the workflow rule from here. And so what this does at this point, the workflow rule will then be executed whenever a brand new lead is created. If the lead status is not contacted, then it will send an email notification out to the lead owner, letting them know that they have a new lead assigned in the system. The second email template that we configured together was to notify the internal team that a deal stage has been updated. And so I'll create a workflow rule based on that. So I'll select the deals module, deal stage change, notification, click next. And this will be triggered upon record action, and it will be edit of a record. I'll go ahead and select when a specific field is modified and repeat whenever the deal is edited. And so that will occur every single time that the deal is edited for that specific field. And so the field will be the stage is modified to any value. So I'll click on next. So for this example, I'll click on all deals and then email notification. So we'll go through this process again. New email notification, deal stage change, notification. And let's say that I want to send this over to the owner's manager so that they'll be able to track the progress of deals for their team members under their management. So I'll send this over to the deal owner's manager, select the template, and I'll select deal stage change notification, which again is the email template that we configured earlier. And then save and associate. And now I'll go ahead and save this workflow rule. And so what that will do is whenever the stage is modified to any value, the rule will be repeated whenever that same modification happens. An email notification will be sent to the owner's manager. So whoever the owner is listed on the deal record, it will be their direct manager that is configured in the back end of the CRM. So I'll go ahead and click save. And so that is our second workflow rule. The third email template that we configured together was a task deadline reminder email template. And so we'll go ahead and create a workflow rule for that. This will be based on the tasks module. And so for this particular trigger point, we will want this to be based on a date time field instead of a record action. And so when a workflow rule is triggered off of a date time field, we can select the time frame at which the workflow rule should be executed. And so I'll select the field first. And so this will be the due date on the task record. And I want this to trigger, let's say 1 day before, just to send them a notification 1 day before it's due, letting them know, to tap into that task. And then I'll go ahead and have it recur once. You can also have this recurrence set to every month or every year. But for this example, only once. I'll click on next. And I will specifically want this to be executed if a task has not yet been closed. And so that is a criteria that I will keep in mind. And so I will select the status is not completed. And so we'll set this if the status is not completed, meaning it's in any open status, that is when we want the notification going out 1 day before the due date. So I'll click on done. Again, email notification as the action, task deadline reminder. And I'll send this over to the owner and the owner's manager. So you do have the ability to select 2 or multiple users, and I'll add the creator as well. Let's say that someone created that task for someone else. We'll select the template, and task deadline reminder is the email template, again, that we configured earlier. So we'll save and associate. And so now what this will do, the workflow rule will be executed 1 day before the due date at 8 a.m. based on your time zone. It will recur only once, and if the status is not marked as completed, then it will send an email notification out to the owner, the creator of the task, as well as the owner's manager, letting them know that the task is open, some details of it, as well as that button that directs them over to the record. So we'll click save. The last email template that we configured together previously is the contract renewal notification. And so I'll go ahead and create a rule. And for the module, if you remember, this was configured for the accounts module. That's where the contract renewal date field has been added. And then I'll go ahead and label this workflow rule. And this will be also triggered on a date time field. So this is another example of that trigger point. This will be based on the contract renewal date field. And then for the execution time frame, I will want this to occur. I'll do a custom time frame, and we will have this set to 30 days before. And then we'll have it sent out at 8 a.m. Again, for the time zone that you have listed in your CRM. It will occur only once. And then we'll, for this example, set it to all accounts. And then we'll add in the email notification. So again, new email notification, contract. And we'll send this over to the owner. Select the template, and then contract renewal reminder will be the template. And so now what this rule is going to do, 30 days before the contract renewal date at 8 a.m. for your time zone, This will only occur once, and it will be executed for all accounts, but an email notification will be sent out to the account owner with the email template notifying them that that contract is up for renewal in 30 days. So we'll save that workflow rule. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, comments, or requests for future tutorial videos like this, feel free to comment down below. Please be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for joining us today.